Thank you for staying with us. We're talking about the Edo governorship election, especially the outcome and the rhetorics that shaped the narrative and the outcome at the end of the day. We have in the studio with us Olufemi Aino, as well as Victor Ohai, gentlemen who have been monitored the process and are politicians in their own right and are speaking to the issues that may have, actually formed the outcome of the election. And Femi, you were speaking about the way the governor managed issues, yes, and how that could have also shaped the outcome of the election.
Well, it's a learning curve. And there are a lot of other politicians that has a lot to learn from what happened here.
Right.
That, look, when you are contesting an election, when you have a candidate, you are really desperate and you want that candidate to win an election, it is very important for you to face the issues and leave the unnecessary distractions. Because, you see, if you are not careful, you will get bogged down dealing with all this. Look, I've told you here on one occasion that if you have a business to run, then you have these employees who can work as a team. They are fighting. You come to the office Monday, you are resolving issues. Tuesday, Wednesday, when will you are still
address the
yes. So when will you have time to run the business? So by Friday, you may have to call them and say, if the two of you can't work together, and we have to take a decision because I have a business to run. You see, this is the point. Because you're a politician, you want votes. You want to win an election. Absolutely. But if you are you are fighting all battles here and there, when will you have time to go to the people you mentioned, those local people?
At the grassroots.
They are the grassroots people. And these people don't go on social media. They just want to hear your voice. They want to hear from you. You need to go on the local radio and appeal to them and give them the opportunity to ask questions. But if you are fighting all the big lights here and there, it's going to hurt you on election day. And another thing about this election is this. People need to know in every contest, there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And if the loser has an opportunity to have a second bite of the cherry, what you do is to embrace that. All this, you see, I've seen a letter from the PDP chairman asking the INEC people that there should be a recount. Now, you see, this is how the fatal crisis. If at the end of the day, the umpire has made an announcement that Sir Victor is the winner, that's the umpire decision. What you need to do at that point, you don't ask for a recount. If they do the recount and said, I'm the winner, don't you know that's going to generate another set of crisis? And if it's not well managed, things can get out of hand. So what you do at that point, either you get the lawyers in or you start collating the evidence. So that you can put a cast iron case. Because if you listen to all these complaints or allegations and scattergun allegations from the PDP, some of them, if you look at it, give yourself the benefit of hindsight, it may well be they have a point. But we are not going to judge that.
Absolutely.
We have an adversarial system of justice here. Come here, you say yours, I say mine, you stay there and you decide based on what you've heard from both sides. So what they should do now, let's forget it. And I must commend Governor Obaseki, at least despite he even appealed to people to remain calm and this and that.
But he was also, castigated for going to the INEC office.
Because two things he did wrongly, I must say. Now we're looking at it with the benefit of hindsight. One, where he said this election is do or die. That could have contributed to apathy. If not for the presence of the security forces, a lot more people would not have come out. And again, for the fact that the vigilantes were disarmed and asked not, otherwise you would have seen bloodbath. But like you said, and to the credit of this election process in Edo, not one soul was lost, to the glory of God. This is good. You understand? But those, you see, like you said, lessons to be learned. Politicians, sometimes you say, this is do or that. You may be costing yourself votes. Because at the end of the day, people who are in the rural area, people come out more freely. They know each other.
Yes.
If anybody wants to foment trouble, we know his family house and all that. But in the big cities, people can come from anywhere and do whatever and disappear. The cities are very big. You can't do that in the villages. So the cities where they would have gotten most of their support from,
There was a lot of apathy as a result of all these
rhetorics leading
up to it. And then going to the INEC office, the embarrassment was just too much. It was not necessary. It showed a bit of maybe desperation and all that. Because as a governor, he could have kept his dignity intact. You know, going there, he didn't still succeed at what he wanted to go there for. And it was just walked out like, you know, it wasn't...
It wasn't necessary.
No, it wasn't necessary.
But do you think that the party could have handled his case with Shuaibu in a better way? I don't know, but
now with the benefit of hindsight, you see, they say hindsight is 2020. You understand? The vision is 2020. It's perfect. Now, that could have been handled much with the benefit of hindsight. Obviously, yes, they could have stepped in. The National Working Committee, or whatever the executives are called of PDP, could have stepped in. I know the governor is a very stubborn person, you know, very obstinate in his ways. You know, if he makes up his mind about something, that's it. But they could have stepped in and not allowed what happened happen, because he's the technocrat, the real politician on that ticket, Shuaibu. That's the real politician there. Shuaibu is a politician, and he has proven over time that he's electable. And he's been on that ticket. Even though being on that ticket, he went against his former Oga, Oshomole. Yes. Yeah. You know, and so this time around, it cost him. I'm sure where he's sitting down now, if you ask him now, he will say to himself, if he could go back in time, he might do a few things differently. You know, with the legacy group, there were agreements when they went to Wike that time to settle, and then for them to give him the umbrella. There were agreements, they were never kept. So many things. So all of those people, those grievances piled up. So every step of the way. But while I'm saying all this, I have to commend him. He did quite a lot, to be honest. As a governor, he did a lot. And for the entertainment industry, he turned Edo State into a major hub, particularly for filmmakers. I want to give him credit. And so many, you know, because of where he was coming from, he was able to get a lot of development partners and all that. But you see, that is only on the one hand. You need to balance it with the politics, which is why on every ticket, it's good to have a technocrat and have a politician. And let each one play his role properly. When you have that balance, you will do very well. But if it doesn't work, if there's no synergy between the two, and they're at loggerheads, that ticket is doomed from the beginning. Right.
Femi, leading up to the election, there was a third force, that was Labour Party, and a lot of people were saying it's possible that they could spring surprises at the end of the day. And it seemed that they were garnering the kind of support that they needed. But we also look at the issues that Labour Party had with Labour itself, NLC, and all of those issues. Do you think that also played a role in the outcome that they got 22,763?
Yes, it's not limited to that alone, because even other parties had issues. But there's a missing piece of the jigsaw here which we need to address. And one should commend the president himself, President Tinubu. His efforts play a part in this victory we are talking about here. Okay. Because you will recall that the APC primary, it was a very rancorous exercise. One, they did one led by Hope Isodima. There were allegations and counter-allegations. Then there was another one conducted by the Cross River State governor. And then it was eventually, that's how they managed to choose this gentleman. And along the line, there was a meeting at the State House where the president has to intervene and appeal to them that, look, matters should be resolved. Then they went back home. There was a meeting in Oshimanle's house where a decision was taken. This is the way we are going to go. And some of you will recall that comment that the president is not even interested in zoning. The president is interested in fair play, and that play out. And you will also recall that the PDP had another rancorous exercise too about their own primaries. And the matter went to court here and there, and eventually, well, they have a candidate. And the Labour Party, which we are talking about, there was this Abure, there was a Lamidi Akpankpa issue, and the matter even went to court until the Court of Appeal said Akpata should be the candidate. But you see, the result is very disappointing for Labour Party. And then we need to think deeply how this happened. Because, you know, if you recall what happened during the last election, the movement was very, very vibrant in that
Absolutely.
And how come they didn't key into that so as to come out or get a result? Is it because their candidate didn't do enough, or because of the internal crisis within the party? That is something, you see, when you conduct an election, I've said this in other fora, when you finish an election, there should be a postmortem.
Postmortem.
Right.
And that postmortem is very important. That is when you now look, what went wrong? How come this didn't happen? Do we need to improve? Do we need to refine our procedure or what? Or are we not communicating enough? Or who are the elements behind all this? Because don't forget, you can try your best possible. There are some people in this country, they know how to rig election very well. And rigging election, I've told you before, the rigging election is not on election day. No. The moment you start saying, go and get voters card, they know they can go to INEC office and say, oh, come to this place and register the voters there. You understand? By the time you get to INEC office, they say, oh, they are fully booked. You see, you know, there are people. That's their specialty, and every election they know what to do. Really? And people are, well, I've been on the field, you haven't. So you should give me that credit.
Of course.
You should give me that credit. So you see, you know what goes on. You understand me? Even in my own state too, where I'm the chairman, do you see, there will be a lot of insinuation. They even misinterpret your good effort. But one thing, and Mr. Victor actually mentioned it, communication is very important. If you don't communicate with the electorate, communicate within the leaders of your party, carry people along, let them know what you are doing. Because this Labour Party result is very alarming.
Yeah.
Is it the candidate? Because I watched their campaign, was there saying this, he spoke broken English, this. But if you look at the turnout at that final rally, it wasn't all that impressive. But although we can't use that to judge, because sometimes some, if they know you are going to a higher crowd, they will all turn up because they know there is something in it for them. So that is something they need to. There should be a postmortem. And the problem we have in Nigeria is that once we have these issues, everybody just go home, oh, we are successful, we've lost the election. No, there should be an independent person who can write a report and tell you, look, this is what happened this election. Because sometimes you can have delegates who are going to turn up. And somebody is going to come out and say, I'm the chairman in what, so. You give him money, arrange transfer, and these people will just take the money and they disappear. That will cause all sorts of issues. Yes. So these are issues they need to look at. But the point is this. What Governor Obaseki should do now, moving on, is that it's not over, because I know there will be litigation.
That's the next issue.
Transition committee should be set up, and they should start preparing the handover notes. The result has been announced. Maybe things can turn otherwise, but, you know, let's wait.
Because they are not accepting the result, because from their own perspective, their candidate won.
Yeah, but nothing can happen in the next 1 year, obviously. You know, they would have to go to court. That's the only option right now. And it won't end at the tribunal. It will go, there will be appeal until it is sorted out. And that's
you think you get to the apex?
Obviously, I'm sure they'll fight till the very end. I may exhaust all opportunities. They will do that. So, but November is a date. He has to leave. And this is the time to make amends. If I were in his position, this is the time not to fight anybody, but to just reach out, you know, while still doing that. And there's an advice I will give here. Some people might call me now and abuse me. But honestly, I will give it with a pure heart. I would say to Aswe, while you are fighting for the governorship, there's a vacancy now for the Senate position. While he is still popular, because it's an off-season election. Let him go now and get that Senate seat ticket for PDP. He will win. If he eventually wins the governorship case, he can go to Osadebe House. But if he doesn't, he's in a position to contest again because it's an off-season election while still a senator. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm giving is the best advice right now. But there will be those who will hear me now, who will abuse me and say, what nonsense are you talking about? This is common sense. It is the best advice. Quite frankly, that's what he should do. Leave pride. Go there, grab the Senate seat now. Hold it while you're still fighting for the other one. I'm not sure if Okpebholo will stand on his way. They will not, I'm sure they will just let him go. Grab it while you're still fighting for the other one. The same way Okpebholo was holding the Senate seat and he fought for the governorship and got it.
Yeah.
Oga, so if you are hearing me right now, just drop pride. Forget what everybody will say, including those that will abuse me for saying what I'm saying now. Go, get the ticket, PDP ticket for Senate, contest for it, you will get it. You can still go and appeal.
You're so confident. You're so confident he will get it.
Sorry, let me.
No, I think he will.
Sorry to disturb your flow of thought. Sorry to disturb your flow of thought.
Yes.
There's something I just like to mention.
Right, quickly.
Really, number one is this. That's his line of thought.
Yeah.
How we advise him. You see, a good actor leaves the stage when the ovation is loudest. And it is very important. If you have anything to offer the people of Edo State, and you've been a governor for 8 years, that's a sufficient time for you to perform. And he has done well. But there's something I'd like to mention. You see, once you have that experience, you've been a governor, you've been in power, you've been a chief of staff or whatever in the previous administration, at a point, you have to decide how you're going to be building future leaders. And that's what we don't do here. If you go to America and other countries, you will see they will serve in Clinton administration. Thereafter, some of them go back to the university and become a lecturer, lecturing people and developing them for the future. Must they be in power in perpetuity? That if you finish as a governor, go as a senator.
No. It's
elsewhere. I'm talking about.
Yes, but, okay.
There's no vacancy in Edo South for now.
So what I'm saying is that for now, since this election, Governor Obaseki put the decision whether to go to court is not for Governor Obaseki. It's not for him. It's for the PDP. It's for the PDP. It's for the party who will take that decision.
Yes.
What he should do, if he has any evidence, or witnesses, he should give it to the party so that they will take decision along that line. Now, what the people in that state want for now, smooth transition of power. That is very important. And they should know one thing, that the duty of accountability has no end. When you leave that office in November, 2 years down the line, evidence can come to light and somebody is going to ask you questions. You should be ready
to give account.
To give account.
Now, let's talk about the task ahead of the governor-elect. Yes, we know that there might be litigation and all of that. But what do you think he should kick off the ground running with exactly for the people? Because there's a lot those people say they want.
Okay, so first of all, the roads in Edo are bad. Very, very bad. It's not exactly the governor's fault, but he also has some blame too. The federal roads. Now that APC is there, they should support him and make sure that the federal roads are done well. Then it presents an opportunity to open other routes, alternative routes also, so that he must not throw away the baby with the bathwater. There will be those now who say, like they call Obaseki MOU government. You can't throw away some of the things he has achieved. He has done quite a lot. Some of those things, he should look at them carefully. And then I heard something that pleased me yesterday. He said he's going to run an inclusive government.
Right.
He said because about 8 parties came together, which means go out there, look for the best of Edo indigenes. It doesn't matter whether they're from PDP or wherever. It would help him. The job of a leader is not the same as that of, it's like an engineer and a technician. The technician may be doing the actual operational stuff. Right. The engineer is doing the thinking. Let him provide leadership. Right. But get the very best of people who will man the various sectors, both from the diaspora, from within, and from around the country. I think that there are some of those so-called MOUs that the president has, the outgoing governor has entered into, that he should look at on their merit and implement and follow up. He should not leave any abandoned project. And I want to beg him, because I'm from the movie sector. What Obaseki has done there is excellent. Please, he should not throw it away. He should please consolidate on it and follow through on it. There is an airport that is supposed to have been built in Edo North. He should make sure that that airport, it can only open up the area.
Right.
You know, Benin Airport is in the center of town already, and that one will serve not only Edo, it will serve Kogi and some other states around there. He should follow up on that. Agriculture is something that does well in Edo. He should also look at agriculture very, very well. Then the youth in Edo, that's something the governor has also done. He's setting up an innovation hub and all that. He should build on it. Those guys, their head hot well, you know. If you don't direct it properly, you will see Yahoo. But these kids are very smart. Build on that tech innovation hub and tech hub, and make sure that if you can get a competitive advantage in that area, we should. These are things. These are low-hanging fruits that you can just tap on right now. Just build upon and take from there. You know, let him not come and listen to people who say, no, away with them. They are our enemies. No. Now the election is over. When he takes over, he's now father of everybody from Edo State. He should do more of listening, and I think he'll be a good listener, because he doesn't talk much. You know, he should embrace everybody. This is not the time to look at who did this or who did that. You know, try and see beyond the election what has happened, and then pick, even from the very best of his administration and ideas, the outgoing governor, and implement them.
Right. From your perspective?
Yes, well, it's very simple. The nature of modern-day politics is that politicians make promises. Some of these promises are promises they can't fulfill in a million years. And at the end of the day, backbiting, telling pokes about each other, these are the nature of modern-day politics. Now you will see them how do you compensate political loyalty? That's very important too. But we have to be very careful not to sacrifice merit, because we want to compensate political loyalty. And that is the problem. Because, and I listened to Mr. Victor, and I agree with him, look for people who knows their onion, that can help you to perform. And governors coming in, starting a new project, all of them are into this. Continuity is very important. There is nothing wrong if you decide and say, look, we are not going to start any new project, we are going to renovate the existing ones, and then we continue with that of the previous administration. You won't say they are totally bad. No. But when some of these governors come in, the next thing they will start their own and say, oh, this, and they abandon, they start criticizing unnecessarily. And that is not good. The electorate, now the people in Edo State, it needs to look at, how are you going to better their lives? That's the important. And the people who voted him to power, they are in the rural areas. Yes. The airport is very important for the economic prosperity of that state. Yes. But most of those people in the rural areas are not going to be using they will only see a plane flying over
I can tell you how that will help. Yes. Because it will bring development to the area, obviously. Yeah. And you can set up industries there, because people know they can just fly in there and then just go to where. So I think it will have a multiplier effect. You know, the cost of land in those areas will rise up. Now, better houses will come up around there. And I think, you see, I can't mention company names here, but some two major cement companies are there. In fact, they're the ones that are going to be partners for the airport project. So it therefore means that, because right now, this insecurity matter makes a lot of people not travel. So if you know that you can just fly straight into an area, you are more likely to go there more often, you know, and you can set up things there, you know. So, yes, the rural people may not be the ones to fly, but it has, yes, it will open up the area.
Yes, and then we also need to be very careful of this rural urban migration, because that's another issue which we have in Nigeria. Because you see, where I've been and where I come from, in those rural areas, you can have Tesco in London, but if you go to the village there is a Tesco branch there. People are not even moving to come to London. So you need to try and make sure that those basic amenities, okay, they are provided in that rural area so that people will stay in. Because if you don't deal with that rural urban migration, what will happen is that prices of properties, rent, and everything is going to go up because people are migrating, and some people are going to key into that and exploit the people. That's very important. And also, there's another thing is this. When you come to power, if you have anything which you know is very unpopular, you better take that decision now. If you leave it to the end, it's going to hurt you because you are still enjoying the people's goodwill. In this same country, some people said, no more subsidy. At the initial stage, there was no hue and cry. Everybody said, look, yes, let's give them that opportunity, things will be better. And Nigerians are very impatient people. If you have something to do, and you must not also be a laid-back leader. If you sit in the office, these people will come and tell you stories. But if you go out on the field, maybe you will have a better understanding of what is going on. So if somebody comes to your office as the governor and said, oh, governor, we've managed to do this road, asphalt is there, blah, 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 blah. Okay, by next week, I'm coming to see. When you get there, you might see that the story is very different because they will like to tell you what you like to hear. But if you go out yourself and you see, I want a working governor. And all these governors, you see, they spend, and you have a deputy. If they are calling, you see, sometimes I just wonder when they have time to sleep. Because today you can see them here in Lagos, and by tomorrow you will see them in Abuja, then they are in Ondo State. Everywhere. So you see, what happened to the deputy? You must try as much as possible deputize by asking your deputy to carry out some of these assignments. And the deputies they should know they are deputy. Some of them can come up, will start having their own ambition now that they want to be. You see, that's what always causes rift among the governor and their deputy. Because some of the deputy cannot manage their own ambition and they are not ready to serve. And once they give them opportunity, they are using that opportunity to fight the governor and improve their own popularity. So these are the issues. There are lots in the menu. And we ask the new governor that he should look at it critically before making a choice.
Yes.
That's a very interesting perspective, I must say. But let's go back to a matter, and that has to do with the turnout of voters. Over 2 million persons were said to have collected their PVCs. And at the end of the day, we do not have up to, we saw the number, it wasn't up to 800?
No.
It wasn't.
2-something. The rest are not even up to 50,000. No, maybe. So less than 500,000.
Less than 500,000. So isn't that a major concern?
Or maybe about 500,000.
We know that it rained heavily that day, but we still saw some persons that defied the rains, to come out and, exercise their franchise. But then these are kind of pattern that we are seeing where a number of persons who collect their PVCs yet wouldn't turn out. What does he say to our process or of our processes?
Well, as I said earlier, I hope this is a lesson. When is the election results don't, it doesn't go to the highest, to the loudest voice. I will keep repeating, this is all that matters. The threat of violence at the beginning didn't help matters. And then the rhetoric of some politicians, and the governor was saying this is do or die.
Is that the issue?
That way. No, I'm coming to it. Let's be honest, Edo is prone to violence because you have thugs. There are political thugs. A lot of them were suppressed.
And the police arrested some.
Yes, they did. They were very preemptive and very proactive in the way they went about it. So that worked. And the president, it was heavily, the presence of security really, really helped. But that initial fear, of those threats could have contributed to it. There was more turnout percentage-wise, in the rural areas than in the cities. And, you know, voters' card has turned to ID card now for a lot of people. Excuse my use of the language. What politicians need to do, and this is what you say, like in the US, for instance, there are people who are, how do I put it now, who go, they do a lot of door-to-door. Community mobilizers, grassroots mobilizers. We don't do it here. We just sit down and do fanciful jingles that people dance to or off TV. But you have to do that because when you talk to somebody, you want to say something? We have
a lot of persons who talk about voter awareness, and the creation of voter awareness has been on since.
It's on TV. And
there were those who also go around doing that.
Where you find more of that is in the rural area. I'm telling you, we need to learn about the community mobilizers in the rural areas. Those are the ones that are doing real politics. In those places, you see, women, you need to see women groups. You run a party. The women groups, you don't play with them. When they say they belong to a party, and you are a member of that party, you are one of them, you don't come. They can find you. They don't joke with it. They don't joke with it. Right. These women, they mobilize, they gather themselves, you know, market women and all that.
Quickly.
That's how it should be.
Right, quickly. How do we address this issue?
Well, the best way, we need to educate people. We need to mobilize them. Because if you are not careful, even during the last election, you know, I was a candidate. And the night before, if you see the crowd in my mother's house, you can't even manage them. But on election day, it was as if somebody brought a bus overnight and took all of them away. I didn't even see them. And what happened up to today remain a mystery. Maybe, but there are a lot of things that goes out there. Yeah. One can say on national telly. You see people who come to you. There was one news, they were even blaming me. That I said I should come and have these bats in the river midnight. I didn't turn up. I said, what are you if a crocodile attack me? What am I going to say? So we need to educate people. We need to mobilize them. And then, like organization, is it MAMSA they used to call it? They have a responsibility, but because of funds. So
anyway,
that's the way to go.
Yes.
Thank you.
Orientation Agency. All right, we finally on the show quickly, we went to the streets to ask Nigerians, if your partner and your sibling were both in need of one of your kidneys, who will you give it? Who will you give? Let's hear their response.